Now that we have our bandsaw cutout here, it's I like to put some center lines on for, you know, just the center of the, say, start the center there, and you know, center here, and as you go down you'll have a center line there. Same with the legs, like where I'm going to start and where I want to finish first, and then somewhere in the middle, and then just kind of swing them together. When I look at the picture, you know, you want to get a little bow in his legs there, so give it a little of this, not straight lines. And you can do the same on the hat here, where the hat comes down. You can see where that's there, and it ends down here where his elbow is, where this is his elbow right here. And also the crown of the hat is up there. That's going to be, you know, you're going to have to do a center line this way for that one. And do the same over here. I'm probably going to carve this hat out one of the first things, or you can start down here, like even on the side of these legs. I like to, you know, put a little center line, so you can, you know, just carve off these corners, and that way it gives you something to go by. And try to keep them looking good. You know, and I left this base on there, but this is going to be his shoe level. Down here. So you got a center line there, and you can carry this on back, and on the hat, this has got to get whittled out here, so to give him that little curve in his hat there. And that's usually where I start. I start carving that hat out, and that way I can know where his face is, how much room I got for his face, and that way. But it can be started down here and just go, yeah. As a matter of fact, I think I'll start right here this time. So she's ready to start whittling on. Okay, this is a OCC tool here. It's a soft, I call it a soft V because it's a V tool, but it's not sharp as rounded on the bottom. And so let's use this to start taking this, getting this hat carved out first here. Takes a good chunk, but it's not a real sharp like a V tool, but sharp V tools are good in other applications, but for this, We're gonna have to go way under there anyway, way under that hat for his face. Yeah, but you got, like, this is his gonna be his face up here and his nose. Just leave plenty for that nose. So this all's got to come out. So quite a bit of whittling on carving this size. So I wouldn't don't get in no big hurry or anything like that. Just take out under this hat here. And work around the carving. Just don't try to carve all one side all the way out and then go over to the other side. Usually winds up in disaster that way. And a knife. So this is the dome of the hat. So you know that's going to go over to the center, kind of. You can just figure how your brim is going to flare up. Say like this little cowboy here. Helps to have a study also. If you got one and nothing else, you got the magazine and you refer to that. So you got the dome of the hat up there. You can shape that up a little bit. And so you can see it. So you can see the hat there. And this is like the little dip in his hat there, and you can shape that up. So there's quite a bit of carving on a hat, and but you got to get the hat to so you know how to carve the face. But this is kind of, and his ears are going to be part of the hat, kind of back into the hat there. If you look at this, the ear is kind of going to be part of the hat. So, but you can just go around and take all these sharp edges off all the way around the whole carving. So. And go by your center lines on your legs. And just take off the sharp part. These legs are pretty darn close already. But we don't have any sharp corners on any carving. So after you do this, you can come back and put some wrinkles in his clothing and stuff like that. And marked here where there's going to be spurs. He's got spurs on his boots. And I'm just going to cut that right there right now so I don't forget it. And cut it. Ooh. So down here is where his hand is going to be right there. So actually, you know, these pants are going to go up underneath of the hand. So you carve up up like the pants leg is still going straight up. That's the way you gotta do it. Carve up under it. Like that. And just continue doing, going around here and taking those sharp edges off. And I'm gonna carve on this more off the camera, and I'll be back. Okay, well, I cut out the blank on the bandsaw, and that's how it looks from the profile. So I went ahead and kept on whittling on this, and made a couple mistakes, so I'm gonna show them to you. And it's a lot of whittling to do here on these in the round wood carvings. So I already made what I did. Where I messed up, I made this. I made his legs too long, where they're going up to almost 3.5 inches to his crotch there, where it should have been 3 inches. So I lost that much on his pants. So I'm going to just have to compensate for that and make it up. Yeah, let me squirt some water on this so you can see it a little bit better. Okay. So anyway, makes your carving look a little more visible when it gets wet. So I just whittled for 2 days on this thing, to tell you the truth, and it's just first you just gotta keep your center lines on your legs so you don't carve too much out of them. But I carved a lot out of here, even though I bandsawed a lot of it. I still had to carve a lot out of there, and to get these legs. And there's still a lot more whittling to do on this. These legs and arms are skinny, skinny, skinny. And there's a lot of carving on the hat. So once you put the center line on the cap, that was part of your original center line, so you go around the whole thing. And that top is still there. So you're just going to be keep whittling around it and whittling around it. This wide flex shaft and flex cut is good for this area. You can see, and It takes a wide cut. Don't cut the outside until you get it to this part. So that way you'll have all the width and everything that you want. And just keep whittling this down, because this is a lot of whittling in here to get this done. And so any U-gouge is better. You know, this one here does good, and gets up there close to the hat, and you just got to decide how you want the hat to be. I'm still trying to get a little more shape on it because it kind of looks a little more pointy, so I'm going to continue carving on that. And this mustache, I got it going up the side of the nose, and it's actually supposed to just start right here underneath of the nose, not up in that, not up there. So I can whittle that down a little bit more, gives me more room on the face to carve. And these arms are going to go all the way up to the hat, and this area in here is going to be his sideburns and his ear in here. So I'm going to be carving on that today, I guess. And I went through on this side with this arm because I saw my buddy, my Facebook buddy there, Myron, he carved it, and I was actually using his as a study photo, which is a good idea. Go to those, there was a couple guys that did that already carved this, and they have posted photos of it, and I suggest you go and save their photos, you know, save their photos for studies. Because there's only one photo on the magazine that's a finished product, and the other is, and so the other is just the pattern that you have here, which is you can always go back to this and look at it again and see where you like this hand here is way over here, and you can see his belly, and this hand has to. You know, I can cut a lot off of that hand to get it so I can see his belly in the background. And so that's how you got to do it. You just got to use your patterns and work with it that way. These legs are going to be skinnier and skinnier, and I was toying with the idea. These are his spurs on his boots, and I was thinking about now the pattern just has his pants going down over the boot, and the boot's up inside. I might just make a boot, just make the boot come up, you know, to like a boot length, and have them on the outside of the pants. And so those are things you can change around. This face is probably not going to be wind up to be like the pattern. But, you know, as long as it turns out to be a good face, that's all that matters. You know, you can change it, you can do whatever. So he's got, I usually like to try to, find where the sideburns are going to be and make that little cut in there to separate that. So that way you know how much face you have, how much room you have for your face, and you can, because you still got to carve some eyes out of here. And same on this side. These arms are coming all the way up to the hat, and this is the sideburn, and this is going to be the ear area right there. So it's quite a bit of carving on here. So I'm going to go ahead and carve more on it, and I can't really carve, you know, sit here and carve the whole thing because it just takes hours and hours to carve this. So you're going to need a lot of patience. Patience prevails on here. And this hand here, he's going to have a belt here, and his thumb is going to go his thumb's going to be behind the belt, you know, so he's kind of like hanging his hand on his belt there, and say these are going to be his fingers here, like that, and that hand would just end right there, and this one is going to be holding the rifle, like that. I drilled a hole, and I drilled a small hole, only just a little 1/8 hole through there, just to get the direction I want this gun to be in, and so I don't want it to be. I want it to be kind of like tilted down a little bit right there, something like that. And I'm still toying with the idea I might have to cut this and put it in 2 pieces, because it's still not going to fit in that hole. And I went back with a my Dremel through there to make that hole that big, and or a couple Dremels. I used a couple different Dremels there, and also for the hat, I used this big Fordham, and that really has to be done delicately. This thing will tear up some wood, but it will clean this area out here very nicely and quickly. So I might use it a little bit more up in here, and but these are the tungsten carbides, and they will make a nasty cut on your hand. I'll demonstrate that in another video, how on Facebook, that how quickly this goes in a actually, let me see this here, right? This is my block that I use just to when I sharpen my knives. I like to test them out on an end grain here to make sure if they cut the end grain nice and clean, then I'm happy. So I always keep this over where I sharpen my knives to make sure I got them sharp as I want them. And let me see, this is a little awkward here because of it being where I got the thing hanging. But let's try it. So that just gives you an idea how it does. It's also extremely dusty, and I don't do it right here. I do it over where on my dust collector, in front of the dust collector, where it sucks that out. And if not, you're going to be covered in dust, and so is your whole shop. But I cut this out with it, and like you just saw, it doesn't take much. If you bear down on that, you're going to tear that hat out off. So you got to really, if you got one, you already know. If you've used it before, you already know. But I'm not really recommending people to do that, but I do it because I'm always, trying to do things a little faster. And I got the tools. If I got a tool there to use, I'm going to use it. I'm not a strict only use a knife and hand tool kind of guy. I'm a tool guy. So the rest of this, the best thing to do is, like, say, draw the belt in there where it's going to go, and trying to draw everything in there first. And along the back too, that belt comes around the back and there like that. And these all are going to get rounded off. The arms and the legs are going to get skinnier. And you're going to make a little, got to put this little deal in here on the spurs. So So all that's, now that it's getting down to where it's going to be as skinny as it's going to be, then we're going to have to go and start doing these details with the eyes and shape up that face a little bit more, and then put in the eyes and shape up that nose some, and won't be, after we get all that done, we'll be painting it. And see, this, the hat shape is just mostly by knife, but this tool right here, you can kind of bend it over and just use the edge of it. You don't have to use that whole tool. If you got a spot you want to clean out, like see those marks there, I can get in there and clean those marks out with just using the edge of this. And you kind of want the head to be like going up into the hat. That's the trick right there. You want that head, you don't want it to be like the hat's just sitting on top of a flat surface. You want it to be a little undercut in here to make it go up. And when you paint it, it'll be more say kind of like this guy here, or this guy here. See how the hat goes up in his head. And this hat's not going to be, the way it's cut out, it's not going to be, it's kind of pointing more up than this guy here. So that's when you cut them out on the bandsaw. You can decide how you want the hat to lay on the head. And this one I just went by their pattern. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now, and I'm gonna keep on whittling on this. And if you carved it out, if you did the carbon blank video and bandsawed this out, then you got a lot of whittling to do there. So I'll be keeping you up with it. I'm going to try to get as much as I can on this video without making it way over an hour. So hang in there. Okay, for those who were worried about how I was going to close this gap in my bandsaw cutout, I'm just going to glue this up and clamp it, and you won't even see it once I get it. Use this old knife to stick some in there, and so I just spread it open with a little screwdriver here. Stick a clamp on it and close that gap right up. Put a clamp on both sides. That old knife ain't good for nothing. Beat up. Just kind of get that excess out of there with this acid brush. This is all going to be, this base is going to be textured. I haven't figured out how I want to texture it yet, but it's going to be textured and painted. So you can see that you can't see. I'll just leave that clamped up for yeah, hour or so. I'm done for the day here anyway. But anyway, that's where I am on the Wendy the Cowboy, the one I'm making the YouTube of, and I'll be adding another YouTube in the next day or so. So, hope that straightens everybody out. Thank you. Thanks for watching.